The man who acted rich for 30 days became a millionaire. The woman who acted healthy for 21 days cured her arthritis. They discovered the law that makes reality bend to match your actions. Most people live this law in reverse. They act poor, they think sick, they speak defeat, and life simply mirrors their belief. What I am about to share with you should have been taught to every child in every school, every church, and every home, for it is the secret of secrets. Your subconscious mind is the seat of infinite riches, infinite health, and infinite power. Hidden beneath the noise of your doubts lies the divine law that bends reality itself. The kingdom of heaven is within you. What you assume, you become. What you claim, you receive. And what you believe in the silence of your heart becomes flesh before your eyes. Now let us go on a journey together, a journey into the miracle-working power of your subconscious mind, a journey that will show you how to act as if it's already done, and thereby manifest the abundance, the healing, and the success that has always belonged to you. The law of life is the law of belief. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You are not bound by circumstances, you are bound only by your concept of yourself. The moment you assume wealth, wealth moves toward you. The instant you accept health in the depths of your mind, the healing currents of life are released. All of heaven rushes to support the man or woman who acts as if it is already done. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Do you not see, beloved, that the world outside of you is nothing more than a photograph of your inward beliefs? Life is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you the image you impress upon your subconscious. If you sow seeds of fear, doubt, and poverty, your harvest will be barrenness and lack. But if you sow seeds of confidence, of plenty, of divine favor, then abundance shall spring forth like an eternal spring. This is the truth ignored by the multitudes, hidden from the common man, and yet proclaimed by Christ when he declared, "It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Notice the wording, it is his good pleasure. The universe takes joy in your prosperity, delight in your success, rapture in your well-being. To deny yourself wealth is to deny the gift of the infinite. To shrink back in fear is to reject the banquet table already set before you. Consider for a moment the story of a young clerk who earned little more than his daily bread. He lived in a cramped room, his clothes worn, his shoes thin. But this man discovered a truth from the pages of Scripture and from the testimonies of those who practiced it. Act as if it is already done. Each night he retired with the image of himself signing checks of large amounts, walking in rich garments, traveling in freedom. Each day he carried himself not as a beggar but as a prince. He spoke with authority. He tipped generously though his means were small. He praised abundance, never cursed lack. In 30 days, opportunities unfolded. An employer raised him, investments multiplied, and he found himself lifted into a station of comfort and prosperity. His outer world bent to match the assumption of his inner world. Why? Because the subconscious mind is the womb of creation. It accepts as true that which you feel to be true. It has no sense of humor, no judgment, no reason. It is impressed by repetition, by conviction, by the image charged with emotion. When you walk as if already successful, you impregnate the subconscious with the seed of success. When you give thanks as if already supplied, you convince the inner mind that the gift has been received, and the outer world arranges itself to confirm it. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the law of substitution. She declared, "You cannot hold two opposing thoughts at the same time. You cannot cling to lack and expect wealth, just as you cannot harbor resentment and expect love. You must substitute the image of abundance for the thought of want. You must walk in the assumption of answered prayer, not the fear of unanswered." Neville Goddard, too, taught this with striking clarity. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption. To him, imagination was not idle fantasy, but the very gateway to reality. When you imagine yourself wealthy and feel the thrill of riches coursing through your veins, you have entered the state that produces wealth. You act as if it were already yours, and the world outside cannot help but conspire to confirm it. Napoleon Hill, after studying the titans of industry, concluded that riches begin with a state of mind. Desire, transmuted into belief, and belief acted upon with persistence, inevitably produces its object. He called it thinking and growing rich, but in essence it is the same divine law proclaimed by all prophets of success. What you truly and feelingly assume within, you shall inevitably experience without. Even Carl Jung, probing the depths of the psyche, recognized that archetypes and symbols, when charged with emotion, shape human destiny. What you impress upon the science. Unconscious emerges in your experience as fate. The collective unconscious becomes the stage upon which the individual dream is dramatized. To Jung, the subconscious was not mere storage of forgotten memories, but the deep well of human possibility. Beloved, take these truths not as mere philosophy, but as the keys to your own kingdom. You are a child of the infinite, heir to boundless treasure. You do not beg for riches, you command them by aligning your inner conviction with the eternal law. You do not plead for health, you awaken it by assuming its presence. You do not chase opportunity, you magnetize it by the radiation of your belief. Let us affirm together, I walk now in the wealth of God. I act this moment as one already supplied, already favored, already blessed. Infinite substance flows through me. Divine ideas clothe me. Abundance surrounds me, and so it is. Do not resist appearances. The outer world may still show the picture of want or disease, but this is but the ghost of yesterday's thoughts. Today you sow new seed, and tomorrow the harvest must come. When you receive a letter of debt, affirm, this too shall pass. The supply of the infinite is mine now. When you feel the pang of illness, declare, the healing presence of God is within me. I am whole now. The outer shadow will dissolve before the inner light. Faith is not struggling to believe, but resting in the certainty that it is already done. Imagine the farmer who plants wheat. Does he fret each day wondering if wheat will appear? Does he dig up the soil to see if the seed is working? No, he knows by law that what he sows, he must reap. Likewise, when you plant the seed of wealth in your subconscious, act as though it is already done. Give thanks before you see it. Celebrate before it manifests. The law cannot fail. I recall a woman who longed for companionship but was trapped in loneliness. She prayed night after night, but always from a position of lack. Lord, send me someone. Lord, I am so lonely. Her subconscious received the impression of loneliness and continued to reproduce it. When I counseled her, I told her to act as if she were already married, to set a place at the table, to speak aloud to her imagined companion, to fall asleep feeling the warmth of his presence. In a matter of weeks, she met the man who became her husband. The law responded not to her begging, but to her assumption. Another man desired wealth, but was shackled by resentment against the rich. His subconscious could not bring him prosperity while he cursed those who had it. I instructed him to bless every rich man he saw, to say, I rejoice in your wealth. God's abundance is flowing to me even now. He began to tithe, to give freely, to act as one who already had. Within months his fortunes reversed, contracts came, and he lived in ease. The law of non-resistance had released his good. Listen carefully. Money is an idea of divine circulation. It is not wicked nor holy. It is energy clothed in paper and coin. When you condemn money, you repel it. When you praise it as a divine servant, you magnetize it. Say often, I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, lovingly. Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance. I am one with the infinite riches of my subconscious. The universe does not respond to begging, but to belief. You cannot trick the subconscious with words you do not feel. But when you clothe your words in faith, when you act as if it is already yours, the subconscious accepts the seed and brings forth the harvest. Beloved, picture this now. You are walking through your home, but it is no longer the dwelling of lack. It is furnished with beauty, light streaming through wide windows. You run your hands along the table, strong and new. You open your closet and see garments of richness. You step outside and the car gleams in the sunlight. Feel the reality of this vision. Do not argue, do not doubt. Act as if it is already done. Give thanks. Say within yourself, thank you, Father, that it is so. And rest in the joy of answered prayer. You must understand that gratitude is the secret key. The grateful mind acts as if it already possesses, and the subconscious, seeing this feeling of possession, produces more. Ungratefulness is a denial of seed. Gratitude is the fertilization of the harvest. Begin and end each day with thanksgiving. Even if your pocket is empty, say, I thank God for the riches now flowing to me. Even if your body aches, say, I thank God I am healed and whole. For every feeling you sustain, every picture you dwell upon is impressed upon your subconscious as fact, and your subconscious, like a faithful servant, goes forth to bring it into manifestation. This is why Christ said, When ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them, not tomorrow, not someday, but believe you have received now. The man who discovered this law finds life a miracle. He ceases to complain and begins to create. He ceases to beg and begins to command. He ceases to envy and begins to bless. And soon the world bends itself to his vision, and he walks in the abundance of heaven made visible. Remember this eternal truth. You are rich now, you are healed now, you are free now. You need only act as if it is already done, and so it shall be. The riches of life are not in distant lands, nor are they locked away in vaults beyond your reach. The treasure house of infinity is within you, waiting for recognition, waiting for acceptance. The man who discovers this inner mine of gold has tapped into the very fountain of wealth. He ceases to look to chance, ceases to wait on the approval of others, and instead aligns his inner conviction with the law of God, the law that never fails. According to your faith, be it unto you. Understand deeply that wealth is not a matter of labor alone, nor of chance, nor of inheritance. Wealth is a state of consciousness. It is a vibration of belief, an inner knowing that the supply of the universe is endless and available. When you enter into this state of wealth consciousness, doors open, ideas flow, opportunities appear. You do not chase them, they gravitate to you by the magnetic pull of your belief. Look at the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin, and yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Christ did not speak idle poetry, he spoke a law of life. The lilies act as if the supply of the sun, the rain, the soil, and the air is theirs already. They live in the assumption of supply, and nature bends reality to meet that assumption, and you, made in the image of God, can do no less. I knew a man once who longed for promotion, yet he carried himself like one unworthy. His clothes were shabby, his manning timid, his speech apologetic. His subconscious accepted the picture of inferiority, and life continued to pass him by. When I instructed him to act as though he were already the manager, to dress with care, to walk with dignity, to give thanks daily for the position already his, the change came swiftly. Within weeks he was lifted to the very station he imagined, his outer world bent to match his inner assumption. Neville Goddard said, Change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. This is not mere philosophy, it is law. You can act as if you are already a successful businessman, already a radiant mother, already a healed soul, and your subconscious will reproduce that image faithfully. It cannot distinguish between the vividly imagined and the outwardly real. Florence Scovel Shinn declared that your word is your wand. What you speak with conviction becomes clothed in flesh. To constantly say, I can't afford it, is to imprint poverty upon your subconscious. To say, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, God is my supply, is to impress abundance upon the inner mind, and the outer must correspond. Let us pause and affirm, I am a child of infinite supply. Money flows to me freely, joyously, endlessly. I act now as one already rich, already blessed, already prosperous. I see wealth everywhere, and I claim it as mine now. You must train your imagination, for imagination is the workshop of the subconscious. If you allow your mind to wander on fear, lack, and debt, your subconscious will reproduce those very conditions. But if you deliberately, persistently picture yourself in abundance, health, and freedom, then the subconscious, like fertile soil, brings forth the harvest of your images. Napoleon Hill spoke of burning desire, a desire so intense it becomes a living belief. Desire is the fire, faith is the blueprint, persistence is the hammer. Together they shape the unseen into the seen. Every skyscraper, every business empire, every invention began in the invisible workshop of imagination. Wealth begins not in the bank, but in the mind. Carl Jung taught that symbols are the language of the unconscious. Money itself is a symbol of circulation, of energy, of exchange. When you dream of coins, bills, treasures, you are in dialogue with your inner world. To curse the symbol is to curse the source. To bless it is to release the power of circulation. When you hold money in your hand, bless it. Say, "You are God's servant, multiply and return to me in endless ways." In this way you charge the symbol with positive energy, and the subconscious reproduces it abundantly. I recall a woman who for years struggled with illness. She visited doctors, swallowed medicines, but no cure came. When she came to me, I told her, "Act as if you are already healed. Speak only of health. Walk as though strength were in you now. Give thanks that the healing presence of God is restoring every cell." At first she protested, saying, "But the pain is real." I replied, "Yes, the pain is real, but the cause is a false belief lodged in the subconscious. Plant a new belief, act as if it is so, and the pain must dissolve." She obeyed. Within months she radiated vitality, her face shone, her eyes sparkled, and the doctors declared her whole. Beloved, health is your birthright, wealth is your birthright, joy is your birthright. To deny them is to deny your divine inheritance. To act as though they are already yours is to open the gates of heaven and let the flood of blessing pour through. The law of non-resistance is vital. When you fight appearances, you give them power. When you resent the success of others, you bind yourself to failure. When you cling to anger, you close the channels of blessing. Release, forgive, bless, and prosper. Say, "I freely forgive all men and women. I bless their success. I rejoice in their abundance. I claim for myself the same riches of God." In this spirit you align with the universal law, and wealth rushes to you unobstructed. A merchant once cursed his competitors, envying their success. His business shrank, his debts grew. When I told him to bless his rivals, to see them as brothers in the one spirit, he at first resisted, but finally he obeyed. Each morning he declared, "I rejoice in the prosperity of my competitors. God's riches are inexhaustible, and we are all prospered together." Within 6 months his business flourished, new customers came, and his heart overflowed with peace. Do not cling to the illusion of limitation. The infinite knows no shortage, no famine, no lack. The earth yields crops in abundance. The seas teem with fish. The sun radiates without end. To think scarcity is to blind yourself to the inexhaustible riches all around. Remember always, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Beloved, practice this tonight. Before you sleep, close your eyes and picture yourself already in possession of the wealth you desire. Feel the joy of freedom, the satisfaction of provision, the delight of generosity. Fall asleep in that mood. Your subconscious, working through the night, will seize upon that impression and bring it forth. Do this faithfully and persistently, and you will marvel at the channels that open, the ideas that arise, the opportunities that come. Act now. Begin today. Buy a new garment and wear it with dignity as if wealth were already yours. Walk with your head held high. Speak with the authority of one who knows the supply is within. Give freely, even if little, as a sign that I'll trust the infinite circulation. Smile, rejoice, live as though the dream were already fulfilled. This is not pretense, it is creation, for when you act as if, you plant the seed. When you feel as though, you fertilize it. When you persist, you water it. And the harvest must come, for God is faithful and his laws never fail. Let us affirm once more, infinite riches flow to me freely. I am one with the endless supply of the universe. Wealth is mine now. Health is mine now. Joy is mine now. I give thanks and rejoice in the fulfillment of my desires, and so it is. Remember, beloved, the outer world bends to the inner conviction. Change your assumption and you change your destiny. Act as if it is already done and behold the miracle of manifestation. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The soul is converted when you realize that God's abundance is not something to be earned in sweat alone, but something to be accepted by faith, believed in with conviction, and acted upon as though it were already so. You do not wait for riches to feel rich. You feel rich, and riches appear. You do not wait for health to feel whole. You feel whole, and health arises. The law cannot be mocked. Whatever you impress upon the subconscious will be expressed upon the screen of space. Consider this eternal principle. The subconscious is impersonal, impartial, and infinitely fertile. It does not argue, it does not reason, it simply accepts. When you feel lack, it accepts lack. When you feel wealth, it accepts wealth. When you say with conviction, I am rich, even though appearances contradict you, your subconscious is impregnated with the seed of wealth, and in due season it must bear fruit. The harvest is certain, though the timing is invisible. Just as the seed germinates unseen beneath the soil, so your desire germinates unseen in the subconscious. Impatience digs up the seed. Faith allows it to grow. Act as if it is already done, and you will not disturb the process. You will water the soil with gratitude, fertilize it with praise, and protect it with non-resistance. One man came to me discouraged by repeated failures. He said, "Dr. Murphy, I have tried everything. I affirm wealth, but my pockets are empty. I declare success, but my business declines." I asked him, "Do you act as if you already possess what you affirm?" He confessed that his words were hollow, spoken while he feared, doubted, and fretted. I instructed him to change his approach. Each morning, dress as if wealthy, smile as if successful, speak with authority. Buy a small token, a new tie, a fresh shirt as a sign of abundance. Each night, fall asleep imagining himself signing profitable contracts and depositing large sums. Within 3 months, his business reversed. Clients multiplied, debts vanished, and prosperity flowed. The change was not in chance, but in consciousness. Neville Goddard often said, "You must enter the state of the wish fulfilled until it takes on the tones of reality." This man had formerly lived in the state of want. Now he lived in the state of wealth, and wealth came. The world is but a shadow, a reflection of the state in which you dwell. Florence Scovel Shinn told of a woman who desired a home. Instead of lamenting her lack, she set up her room as though preparing to move. She packed her trunks, thanked God daily for her new house, spoke only of her coming possession. Soon a relative offered her a beautiful residence rent-free. She acted as if, and the law of substitution worked wonders. You too must live in the atmosphere of fulfilled desire. If you long for travel, walk with the joy of one who has seen the world. If you long for marriage, carry yourself as though already beloved. If you long for health, speak and move as though vigor were yours. You will discover that the subconscious cannot resist the image of assumption. It must reduce it. Napoleon Hill spoke of autosuggestion, the practice of feeding the subconscious definite ideas charged with faith. This is precisely the law I teach you now. The daily repetition of a belief when clothed with emotion becomes fixed in the subconscious and must manifest. Many have repeated words with no feeling and wondered why nothing happened, but words are only vessels. It is feeling that gives them power. When you affirm wealth with joy, gratitude, and conviction, your subconscious says, "Yes, this is true," and sets the law in motion. Jung understood that within every man lies both shadow and light, both poverty and wealth, both sickness and health. The choice is yours. Which image will you feed? Which archetype will you awaken? When you act poor, you energize the archetype of lack. When you act rich, you awaken the archetype of abundance. These are not mere concepts, they are living forces within the psyche, ready to spring forth at your command. Beloved, do not despise small beginnings. Begin with the little you have. Use it wisely, lovingly, constructively. Act as though it were more, and it will multiply. The widow's oil increased only when she poured it. Your supply increases when you circulate it. Do not hoard in fear, for fear stagnates. Circulate in faith, for faith multiplies. I remember a man who, though burdened by debt, decided to tithe. He gave a portion of his meager income as a recognition of God's infinite supply. At first his family mocked him, but he persisted. Soon unexpected checks arrived, opportunities opened, and within 2 years he was debt-free and prospering. His subconscious had accepted the image of plenty, and reality bent to confirm it. The law of forgiveness is also essential. Many block their prosperity by harboring resentment. Your subconscious cannot bring you wealth if you poison it with bitterness. Release all grudges, For memories of injustice, say within yourself, "I freely forgive everyone who has ever wronged me. I bless them, I release them, and I prosper." When you do this, you clear the channels for divine riches to flow. A woman once told me she could not prosper no matter how she affirmed. I asked her whom she resented. She admitted she hated her former employer who had dismissed her. I instructed her to pray daily. I bless him. I forgive him. I release him to God. Though it was difficult, she persisted. Within weeks, she was offered a position better than the one she lost, with double the salary. Forgiveness had unlocked her fortune. Let us affirm now, I forgive freely, I bless richly, I give joyfully. The riches of the universe flow to me in perfect order. I walk as though my wealth were already here, and so it is. Do not say, I will be rich someday. That pushes the blessing into the future. Say, I am rich now. Live in the now, for the subconscious knows only the present. When you declare I am, you plant the seed of reality. When you say I will be, you postpone the harvest. Act now, feel now, claim now. Remember the words of Christ, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. The tense is present. Believe you receive, not will receive. The gift is given now. You need only accept it. The man who accepts this truth walks with quiet confidence. He is not anxious, for he knows the law is sure. He is not envious, for he knows his supply is within. He is not fearful, for he knows God is his banker, his physician, his counselor. He walks in peace, and prosperity flows to him like rivers of living water. Beloved, picture your desire fulfilled now. Feel it real. Act it out in small ways. Give thanks as if the miracle has already occurred. Do this faithfully, and you will discover the kingdom of heaven is not afar off, but within you. Bendin. Reality to your faith. And so I remind you once more, you are already rich. You are already whole. You are already free. The law of life bends to your belief. Act as if it is already done, and the invisible will become visible. The Spirit of God within you is the source of all wealth, all health, all wisdom, all success. It is the infinite reservoir of supply. When you recognize this truth and act upon it, the world without bends to match the conviction within. For the kingdom of God is not meat and drink. It is righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. It is an inner state that produces outer results. Too many look outward for confirmation, waiting for conditions to change before they change their belief. But the law is reversed. Change your belief first, and conditions must follow. When you act as if the miracle is already done, you impress the subconscious with the pattern of fulfillment, and the subconscious brings it forth in its own miraculous way. There is a rhythm to life, a divine timing that operates with perfect precision. The farmer does not demand the harvest the day after planting. He knows there is a season. The same law governs your desires. When you plant the seed of wealth consciousness, the harvest will come in its appointed hour. Impatience is doubt. Patience is faith. Rest in the assurance that it is already done within, and soon it shall appear without. I knew a man who longed for healing. He affirmed it daily, yet grew discouraged when no instant change appeared. I told him, do not dig up the seed by checking for signs. Give thanks now that the healing is accomplished. Live as though you were already whole. Walk in the rhythm of divine timing. He obeyed. He spoke of his health, moved with confidence, and in due course the healing manifested. His impatience had been the barrier. His faith opened the channel. Neville Goddard said that creation is finished. All states already exist in the eternal now. When you assume a state and persist in that assumption, you move along the bridge of incidents that leads to its outward expression. Your task is not to create wealth, for wealth already exists. Your task is to assume wealth, to dwell in the state of abundance, and life will rearrange itself to place you in that condition. Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of the law of expectancy. She declared that your expectation is your faith. If you expect lack, you will receive lack. If you expect abundance, you will receive abundance. To act as if is to expect with certainty, to walk in the assurance of answered prayer. She often told her students to prepare the table for the banquet, to set the stage for the miracle, for expectation is the magnet of manifestation. Napoleon Hill emphasized persistence. He said that many give up just before success arrives, digging only 3 feet from gold. To persist in faith, to act as if despite appearances, is to strike the rich vein of supply. The subconscious responds not to momentary whims, but to sustained belief, to continuous assumption. The man who persists cannot fail, for the law must yield to the unshakable conviction of faith. Carl Jung taught that synchronicity is the language of the unconscious. When you impress a desire upon your subconscious and act as though it were fulfilled, the outer world begins to echo back coincidences, opportunities, and signs. These are not accidents, they are the outworking of the inner pattern. The dream speaks in symbols, and life responds in synchronicity. The man who sees with inner eyes recognizes the hand of God in every seeming chance. Beloved, never fight circumstances. Resistance only strengthens what you oppose. If debt stares you in the face, do not curse it. Bless the opportunity to prove the law. Say, this debt is dissolved in divine order. I am supplied abundantly. Then act as one who is free. Walk with confidence, live generously, give thanks. Soon the outer shadow will dissolve before the inner light. I remember a woman crushed by financial burden. She wept daily, declaring, I cannot pay. I am ruined. I told her, speak no more of ruin. Declare, infinite spirit is my supply. The bills are paid in divine order. I rejoice in freedom. Act as though the bills were already settled. Give thanks before the evidence. She obeyed, though trembling. Soon unexpected income arrived. The debts were cleared, and she lived in joy. The law had answered the voice of faith. Gratitude is the golden key. When you give thanks in advance, you acknowledge the gift as already received. This feeling of possession impresses the subconscious, which then brings forth the evidence. Begin each day with gratitude. End each night with thanksgiving. Let your heart say, thank you, Father, for the wealth now flowing. Thank you for the health now manifesting. Thank you for the love now surrounding me. Gratitude is faith in action, the proof that you believe it is already done. The subconscious works in silence, moving people, circumstances, and events to fulfill your inner pattern. Do not question the how, only persist in the what. Do not dictate the channel, simply affirm the supply. The how is God's business, the assumption is yours. When you act as if, you relinquish control of methods and trust the divine order. One man desired a fortune but feared the unknown. He asked, how will it come? Through what channel? What if it fails? I told him, that is not your concern. Act as though it were already yours. Claim it, thank God for it, and walk in that confidence. The method will reveal itself in divine timing. He obeyed, and within months, a business opportunity opened that surpassed his dreams. The law fulfilled itself without his anxious planning. Beloved, the greatest obstacle is fear. Fear paralyzes, doubt destroys, worry corrupts. But faith clothed in action dissolves fear. Walk boldly, even if appearances scream otherwise. Declare, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. When you act in faith, the shadow disappears, and the valley becomes a mountaintop. Practice this exercise each day. Spend a few minutes in silence. Imagine yourself already in possession of your desire. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction. Then rise from your chair and go about your day, acting in harmony with that vision. If you desire wealth, carry yourself as one who is rich. If you desire health, move as one who is strong. If you desire love, speak as one who is cherished. This alignment of inner and outer convinces the subconscious and manifests the desire. Do not despise delay. Delay is not denial, it is preparation. While the seed is germinating, invisible forces are arranging the conditions. Trust the rhythm of divine timing. Say, in God's appointed hour, my desire appears. Then walk in peace, knowing it is already done. Let us affirm now, I live in divine timing. I rest in the assurance of answered prayer. I act as though the miracle is done, and the universe confirms my belief. Infinite riches are mine now, and I give thanks. Beloved, remember always, life is a mirror, and you are the artist. Paint the canvas of your subconscious with images of wealth, health, joy, and success. Act as if it is already done, and soon your world will shine with the colors of heaven. And so I say to you once more, you are already supplied, already healed, already blessed. Act as though it were so, and the law of life will bend reality to your faith. All the miracles you seek are already within you. The infinite spirit, the living God, dwells in your subconscious mind, and it is this indwelling presence that heals disease, dissolves obstacles, opens doors, and multiplies supply. When you learn to act as though a prayer is already answered, you call forth the miracle-working power that has been present all along. Remember the words of Christ. The kingdom of God is within you, not above the stars, not buried in distant lands, but within you here and now. When you shift your awareness inward and assume that the thing desired is already yours, you discover that heaven is not a place but a state of consciousness. And once you dwell in that state, reality bends itself to your inner conviction. The law of assumption is not superstition. It is the eternal law of life. All things exist as potential within the infinite. When you assume a state and persist in it, that potential becomes actualized in your experience. The poor man who assumes riches will see opportunities where others see none. The sick woman who assumes health will radiate vitality that draws healing power. The lonely soul who assumes love will emanate a warmth that magnetizes companionship. The world responds not to what you say you want, but to what you assume you already are. I recall a woman afflicted with a condition doctors could not cure. She came to me trembling, saying, "Dr. Murphy, I have prayed and prayed, but nothing changes." I asked her, "How do you pray?" She said, "I beg God to heal me. I tell him I am sick and need help." I replied, "Do you not see? You are impressing your subconscious with sickness every time you pray. The subconscious accepts the picture you give it and reproduces more sickness." I instructed her to reverse her prayer. Each night before sleep, she was to imagine her body whole, radiant, glowing with life. She was to say, "Thank you, Father, for perfect health. I feel strong. I feel free. I feel healed." Within weeks, her symptoms faded, her strength returned, and she walked in the joy of answered prayer. Beloved, this is the secret. Act as though the thing you seek is already so, and your subconscious will make it so. When you assume health, the healing currents of life are released. When you assume wealth, the avenues of supply are opened. When you assume joy, the currents of happiness flood your being. Neville Goddard declared, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption." Florence Scovel Shinn proclaimed, "Your word is your wand." Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Carl Jung revealed, "What you resist not only persists but grows stronger. What you integrate becomes your destiny." These voices, though different in style, point to the same eternal truth. Life bends itself to your inner state. Consider the law of healing. Disease is often nothing more than crystallized fear, hardened worry, or guilt lodged in the subconscious. When you remove the mental cause, the body responds with vitality. A man once came to me with ulcers. He was tense, bitter, angry at life. I told him, "Relax, forgive, release. Imagine peace flooding your mind. Say daily, 'I am relaxed, I am poised, God's river of peace flows through me.'" As his mind became peaceful, his body healed. The cause had been mental. The cure was also mental. So it is with prosperity. Poverty is often a mental habit, an inner belief in lack, sometimes inherited from parents or culture, but you are not bound by heredity or history. You are bound only by belief. When you replace the thought of lack with the thought of abundance, when you act as if riches are already yours, the subconscious reorganizes your circumstances to reflect the new belief. A clerk becomes a manager, a debtor becomes a lender, a struggling artist becomes a celebrated creator. Life bends to belief. Gratitude is the language of assumption. When you give thanks in advance, you declare that the gift is already received. Gratitude convinces the subconscious more quickly than argument or force. Say often, "Thank you, Father, for the wealth manifesting. Thank you for the healing power surging through me. Thank you for the love that surrounds me." Gratitude is the proof of faith, the evidence of things not seen but already accepted. Let me share another story. A man in despair over unemployment came to me saying, "No one will hire me. I have tried every avenue." I told him, "Begin to act as though you are already employed. Rise each morning as though going to work. Dress with care, shine your shoes, carry yourself as though successful. Each night, imagine yourself shaking hands with your employer, giving thanks for the job already yours." He obeyed. Within 2 weeks, a position opened unexpectedly, better than he had dared hope. His world bent to his assumption. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students that there is no power in appearances. She said, "Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals but doubt and fear. You must learn to ignore the outer picture when it contradicts your desire. If your bank account shows lack, bless it and declare, 'I see wealth, I feel wealth, I know wealth is mine now.' If your body feels weak, declare, I am strong. God's life animates me now. The outer picture is but yesterday's photograph. The inner vision is today's seed of tomorrow's harvest. Napoleon Hill, after studying the richest men of his age, wrote that the secret of their success was an inner state of burning desire transmuted into faith. He observed that Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison all acted as though their dreams were already realities long before the evidence appeared. They persisted in that state until the world caught up with their vision. Carl Jung explained that within each of us lies an inner archetype of abundance, of health, of love. When you align with that archetype through imagination and faith, you draw it forth into expression. This is why dreams are powerful. They reveal the symbols of your inner state. When you dream of houses, of gold, of journeys, your subconscious is signaling the wealth of possibilities within you. To act as if is to awaken those symbols into flesh. Beloved, you must also understand the law of circulation. Money is like blood. It must flow. Hoarding from fear stagnates supply. Giving from love multiplies it. If you desire wealth, become a channel of circulation. Give freely, wisely, joyfully. Share ideas, share kindness, share resources, even if small. The subconscious then assumes abundance and brings more. A woman once said, "I cannot give, I have so little." I told her, give something, even a smile, even a kind word, even a prayer. Circulate what you can, and more will come. She obeyed. She gave pennies with joy. She gave encouragement to others. She prayed for prosperity for all. Soon gifts began to arrive, opportunities opened, and her life overflowed. Giving had broken the dam of fear and released the river of supply. Do not resist delay. Remember, delay is not denial. While you wait, the subconscious is weaving the pattern, moving people and circumstances. Rest in divine timing. Say, "My good is on the way." It is done in the invisible, and soon it shall appear in the visible. This assurance keeps you in harmony and prevents you from digging up the seed with doubt. Faith is the anchor of the soul. When appearances tempt you to fear, anchor yourself in faith. Declare, "I live by divine law, not by appearances. I walk by faith, not by sight. I act now as though my good were already here." Let us affirm together, "I am rich in divine ideas. I am healthy in every cell. I am loved by the infinite presence. I live in joy, peace, and abundance now. I act as if it is already done, and it is so." Beloved, your subconscious is faithful. It does not fail. It responds to your belief, your assumption, your feeling. Act as though it is done, and the law of life will confirm your faith with visible results. So I remind you once more, you are not waiting for abundance. Abundance is waiting for you. You are not chasing healing. Healing is within you. You are not searching for love. Love is already yours. Assume it, act upon it, live in it, and the world will bend to your belief. Within you now is the creative principle of the universe, the same spirit that hung the stars in their orbits and set the sun aflame. This spirit never withholds, never delays, never denies. It is you who must open the channel by assuming your good as already accomplished. When you act as though it is done, you align your mind with divine order, and the infinite presence rushes to clothe your belief in form. Have you not read the words of Jesus? "What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Notice the command, not believe you shall one day receive, but believe you receive them now. This is the essence of acting as if. You must claim your desire in the present tense, in the living moment. To postpone your assumption is to postpone your miracle. I once counseled a man broken by debt. He feared eviction, shame, and failure. I told him, "Do not magnify your debt, magnify the riches of God within you. Begin today to assume wealth. Imagine yourself writing checks freely, giving joyfully, living abundantly. Feel the ease of financial freedom as though it were your present reality." He practiced faithfully, affirming, "God is my instant everlasting supply. Money flows to me in avalanches of abundance." In less than a month, unexpected contracts, gifts, and opportunities poured in, and his debts dissolved like shadows before the sun. His outer world bent to the conviction of his inner world. Do not underestimate the power of imagination. Imagination is God's gift to man. It is the workshop of creation. What you imagine with feeling becomes imprint. As said upon the subconscious, and what is impressed must express. Neville Goddard taught, Imagination creates reality. He was right. If you wish to be wealthy, do not merely wish for it. Imagine it, feel it, live it inwardly. If you wish to be healed, do not merely long for health. Assume it. See yourself strong, radiant, whole. What you accept in imagination will be accepted by your subconscious as fact. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Faith knows it is already received and acts accordingly." She understood that true faith is not begging, not pleading, but knowing. When you know, you act in harmony with that knowing. The beggar prays in fear. The enlightened soul prays in certainty. Say within yourself, "I know that my prayer is already answered. I know that my subconscious is now bringing it forth. I walk, speak, and live as though it were so." Napoleon Hill observed that every man of success began with a definite chief aim and a burning desire. But he also noted that they acted with faith long before evidence appeared. Edison, when inventing the light bulb, acted as though success were certain, though he faced 1,000 failures. Ford acted as though his automobile would transform the world, though the world mocked him. Carnegie acted as though riches were his birthright, though he began in poverty. They all bent reality by assuming the end and persisting until the outer caught up with the inner. Consider the law of forgiveness. Many block their good by clinging to resentment, replaying old wounds, and poisoning the well of the subconscious. Beloved, forgiveness is not for the other but for you. When you forgive, you release yourself. When you release, the floodgates of abundance open. A woman once came to me in bitterness toward her former husband. She said, "I cannot prosper no matter what I do." I told her, "Your resentment is the chain binding your goo. Forgive him, bless him, see him prospering, and you will prosper." She resisted, but eventually she yielded. Each night she said, "I forgive him, I wish him well, I am free and he is free." Within weeks, unexpected income flowed, her health improved, and new doors opened. Forgiveness had unlocked her treasure chest. Carl Jung revealed that what we repress in the shadow rules us from below. To deny your resentment, your fear, your guilt is to give it power. But when you bring it to light and replace it with love, you transform the shadow into strength. The subconscious does not discriminate. It accepts whatever impression you plant. Plant love and love will blossom. Plant forgiveness and peace will flourish. Plant abundance and riches will grow. Now hear this truth. Non-resistance is the secret key. What you resist, you magnify. What you accept and transcend, you dissolve. If you fight poverty with fear, you make poverty real. If you fight sickness with anxiety, you reinforce sickness. But when you calmly assume you're good, ignoring appearances, the unwanted withers away. Say to yourself, "I refuse to fight shadows. I accept the light. I walk in abundance, health, and peace now." Let us pause and affirm together. I am aligned with the infinite source of wealth. I am one with the river of life. I am whole, perfect, strong, loving, harmonious, and happy. All that I desire is mine now by divine right, in perfect ways. Beloved, the subconscious is a faithful servant, but you must be a wise master. Do not feed it with fear, doubt, or complaint. Feed it with truth, with images of success, with songs of gratitude. Before sleep, impress it with pictures of your desire fulfilled. Upon waking, reaffirm your good. Throughout the day, act as though your dream were already fact. Soon your subconscious will bring forth conditions matching your assumption, and the world will marvel at your transformation. The psalmist declared, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart." To delight in the Lord is to delight in the law of life, the law of assumption, the law of faith. When you rejoice in this law, your desires manifest with ease. Let me tell you of a man who longed for companionship. He felt alone, unloved, forgotten. I instructed him, "Do not dwell on loneliness. Begin to act as though you are already surrounded by love. Speak kindly, dress with care, radiate warmth. Imagine each night that your beloved sits beside you, smiling, laughing, sharing life with you. Feel it real." He obeyed. Within 3 months he met a woman who mirrored the love he had assumed, and they built a life of joy together. You see, the outer is but a mirror of the inner. If you dislike the image, do not strike the mirror. Change the face you show. If you want a new picture, paint it in your imagination. If you want a new life, assume it within. Gratitude, forgiveness, imagination, and faith, these are the golden keys. Use them, and no door can remain shut to you. Life is not against you. Life is within you. Wealth is not outside you, wealth is within you. Healing is not distant, healing is within you. Love is not absent, love is within you. Beloved, you are the architect of your destiny. With your subconscious mind, you build mansions or prisons, riches or poverty, joy or sorrow. Choose wisely. Act as if it is already done, and it will be done. For it is written, "It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." And so I say unto you, the kingdom is yours now. The riches are yours now. The healing is yours now. Assume it, accept it, and live in it, for it is already so. Beloved, the time has come to seal these truths into the very depths of your subconscious mind. All through the ages, men and women have searched outside themselves for power, for healing, for riches, or love. Yet the great discovery is this: you carry within you the boundless treasure house of infinity itself. The pearl of great price lies not in distant lands, but in the chamber of your own heart. When you act as though your prayer is already answered, you unlock the gates of this treasure, and life bends itself to your belief. Do you not remember the promise of Jesus? Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. He did not say beg, nor did he say wait endlessly. He said, ask, believing you receive now. The great key is assumption. You must believe you have it before you see it. You must walk as though the miracle has already occurred. You must breathe, speak, and act as though the dream is fulfilled. I recall a man who longed to be free from addiction. He fought and resisted, but the more he resisted, the stronger it grew. I told him, do not fight the darkness, assume the light. Each night before sleep, see yourself free, joyous, radiant with strength. Say, I am free now. I walk in the liberty of the sons of God. He obeyed. Within weeks the craving dissolved, the chains fell away, and he stood in freedom, acting as if had become acting as truth. Florence Scovel Shinn would often say, man's word is his wand. Speak as though your good is here, and it will appear. Neville Goddard declared, persist in the assumption that your desire is already a fact. Napoleon Hill reminded us that riches begin with a thought mixed with faith. Carl Jung showed that the archetypes of abundance and love are already alive in your psyche, waiting to be expressed. All these voices echo the same eternal law. What you assume inwardly, you become outwardly. Let us affirm together, I now assume my wealth is already done. I now assume my health is already done. I now assume my love is already done. I live in the joy of answered prayer. I rejoice, for it is finished. Beloved, remember always the law works for you as you work it. The subconscious mind responds faithfully to your sustained assumption. Do not be double-minded. Do not say, I am rich one moment and I am poor the next. Do not declare healing in prayer and sickness in conversation. Your word must be one. Your vision must be one. Your assumption must be one. A house divided against itself cannot stand. But when your conscious mind and subconscious are in harmony, nothing shall be impossible unto you. When appearances tempt you, do not falter. When doubts whisper, do not yield. Stand firm in faith. Walk in the unseen. Act as though it is already done. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you live by this law, wealth flows, health blossoms, love surrounds, peace reigns. Imagine now, as you listen, that the life you desire is already yours. Feel the joy of answered prayer. See yourself walking in freedom, dwelling in abundance, rejoicing in love. Let this image sink deep into your subconscious. Say within, it is done. I have received. I rejoice and give thanks. And now, as you go forth, carry this truth with you. You are the heir of divine riches. You are the temple of infinite health. You are the channel of eternal love. You are the expression of God's own abundance. Act as though it is already done, and it shall be done. For it is written, it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The kingdom is yours. Now, beloved, if these words have stirred your soul, if they have awakened the seed of faith within you, then share them with others. Let this channel be a beacon of truth to all who hunger for the law of life. Like this message, subscribe to this channel and spread the word so that millions may know the power of their subconscious mind and the law that bends reality. Together, let us lift the consciousness of the world into the light of abundance, healing, and love. And remember always, as you close your eyes tonight, I act as if it is already done. I rest in the finished work. I walk in the joy of answered prayer. My subconscious mind is one with the infinite, and all things are now possible unto me.